What's happening with the Arab Spring? Those of you who followed with joy as the events unfolded on Facebook in Tunisia, who clicked like on comments over election results, and who left comments delighting in the fall of Gaddafi in Libya, are you also positive about a new tolerance towards polygamy and Sharia law? Is it compatible with the values of the European Union? Your questions today to one of the most renowned journalists in Italy, who's now a member of the European Parliament and founder of the I Love Italy party, Egyptian-born Maggi Cristiano Alam. Hello. Thank you for being with us. First of all, a question on the news. A lot of people have written in about this, but we have no video. People want to know what you think about the large number of Coptic Christians who've been killed this year. I believe they make up about 10% of the entire Egyptian population.
I am delighted that the European Parliament has recently approved a resolution condemning the killings, discrimination and the persecution of the Copts in Egypt. Christians are intervening for the first time and implementing sanctions with the Egyptian government.
What kind of sanctions?
The penalties have not been specified, but the EU is showing it is committed to ending the persecution of Christians in Egypt, and I hope that this time we will make decisions that really matter, because we need to safeguard the foundation of our civilization, which is freedom of religion.
So there's a theme emerging. Let's go to the first question.
Are you concerned about the implementation of Sharia law in the countries of Arabic Spring?
Nobody expected this to come from the Arab Spring, at least not in Europe. Do you think we share the same views in Europe that people have in Egypt about Sharia law?
The problems facing these people are not democracy or freedom, but poverty and unemployment. We have been lured into believing they had other expectations. Today we find Islamist extremists are in power, and the regimes say they want to use Sharia as a guide. So I think it is time to understand that we mustn't be fooled into thinking elections mean automatic democracy. They are only an instrument of democracy, and we must ask all those involved in the elections to share the values that underpin democracy.
Does it bother you sometimes that we're trying to impose our values, our words and our democracy onto other countries?
We are not imposing anything, because these are the values which are the fundamentals of humanity. When we talk about the right to life, when we talk about human dignity, about freedom of choice, we are talking about absolute and universal values.
Okay, now a second question on iTalk.
Hi, my name is Jacques and I'm French. My question is about what happened 2 days ago in Paris after a petrol bomb attack targeted a magazine which dared to change its name from Charlie Hebdo to Hebdo Sharia. What are your thoughts on this?
This isn't the first time that Islamist extremists have shown their intolerance towards freedom of expression. I believe that Europe should begin to require compliance with rules that guarantee rights for everyone, without discrimination, that should be honored by all, without exception, including Islamist extremists.
Well, you know what they'll say. They'll argue that they're part of a much stronger law, the law of God and the respect for religion.
We are in a free and democratic state. So if, for example, we pick on Christianity, if we insult the Church, the Christian faith, or even the Pope, we can say it is freedom of expression. But if you attack and criticize Islam or the Prophet Muhammad, it is considered an outrage that must be paid for with blood, and this is unacceptable.
And another question.
Hello to those who follow Islam. I have a question. Do you think you can follow Islam and be a Democrat? Because I see more and more people who call themselves Muslims and Democrats. My religious convictions, however, say you can't, because the Creator is the only legislator. And now I see an increasing number of people who prefer democracy to Sharia law.
Well, a recurring theme, a lot of people asking similar questions.
First of all, I'd like to thank him for his contribution, because it helps us to understand that in Europe we must ensure that everyone respects democracy, regardless of one's faith. It must be clear to Islamist extremists that Europe is a haven for all, and that we do not discriminate against anyone. People who live in Italy and Europe have to respect the fundamental values of life, and they include religious liberty.
In following your beliefs, you're risking your life. You're constantly surrounded by bodyguards. Why do you put yourself through that?
Because I think it's time to say that it is our right and our duty to tell the truth and always protect freedom. If we aren't able to do that, even in this large home we call Europe, our civilization will be threatened.
Une autre question pour Magdalam.
Hello, I'm
Christian, 29 years old, from Germany. And I would like to put a question forward about the present development in Islamic countries, especially in Tunisia, where they just had elections. In Germany, a lot has been reported on the Islamist revolutions. I would like to know if these revolutions are democratic or if religion has priority over them. That's the question that interests me and lots of the other European citizens.
Many European citizens have been disappointed, surprised by this. They imagine the Facebook generation in Tunisia would vote for a political party closer to European politics.
We have been deceived by appearances. In these countries there are only two centers of power, the military barracks and the mosques. The middle class does not exist. There is no middle class that can express itself in a genuine civil society. As Europeans, we must commit ourselves to promote the birth of a middle class in order to have true democracy. I am concerned about what is happening in Tunisia with the victory of an Islamic extremist party. Historically, when extremists come to power, they do not leave peacefully.
One last question for Maggie Alam here on iTalk.
Hello, my name's Lena, and I'd like to ask what you think about the fact that Palestine has now become a member of UNESCO. And also, there's a question about it potentially becoming a member of the UN.
Obviously, you expect more. Very briefly, please.
We are all in favor of an independent Palestinian state, but it has to live together peacefully with the state of Israel. And this requires negotiations between the two parties.
But they'll tell you they have tried to negotiate.
The only possible solution that can come from this will be the outcome of negotiations between Israel and the Palestinian National Authority. Otherwise, more mistakes will continue to be made.
Thank you, Maggie Cristiano Alam, for answering our questions. Thank you for watching iTalk at our virtual studio here in the European Parliament in Brussels. If you'd like to pose any questions for our next guests, feel free. The site hasn't changed. It's euronews.net/i-talk. Thank you very much and see you soon.